So welcome back to the Rick Shiels Golf Show podcast, everybody. Episode 136. I'm your host, Rick Shiels. Nearly forgot my name. Here with co-host, Guy.
Yes.
You might have to bring the energy today, pal. So I'm a little tiny bit fatigued.
Luckily for you, I've got arguably too much energy today because I missed you.
Oh, thanks,
And
pal.
I'm looking forward to having you back. And I'm looking forward to doing a podcast and hearing some more tales about your insane, ridiculous, outlandish, obscene, incredible walk 150. And I'm sure everybody listening knows what you did and wants to congratulate you on an incredible feat of physical and mental resilience, firstly. But you've raised £112,000 or so?
120.
Oh, right, wow, it's gone up again.
Nearly 121,000.
There you go, £121,000, which is absolutely incredible. So hats off to yourself, literally, I'll take my hat off. And, you know, the people that have donated as well, it's so, I know you've said this before and I'm sure you're going to reiterate it again, but it's so incredibly kind of people in this current kind of tough economic climate to donate their hard-earned cash to such a worthy cause. But as I said to you, kind of off record, not only the money is one thing, that's incredible and that'll go so far, but it's the awareness as well.
Yeah.
And just a quick note, you know, obviously this has all been done for prostate cancer. And my dad was telling me a story at the weekend, actually. It's so crazy that you know, about prostate cancer. He'd seen an old friend at the weekend and he'd said, oh, my wife saved my life. He was like, what? He said, my wife has just saved my life. What do you mean? And apparently his wife said to him, this guy's in his 60s, late 60s, whatever, his wife said, you need to have a blood test. You've not had one for a few years, let's just go and check everything's all right. And he kind of put it off. And anyway, he went and he found out he had prostate cancer.
Oh my God.
And it was like a 9 out of 10 in terms of seriousness. And luckily it was treated at the right time and he's thankfully, I believe, clear. And, you know, stuff like that, the research that goes into helping these people and stuff like that's what your money is funding. So, again, really, really well done. I think everybody listening can say you've killed it. Well done.
It was a task.
Just a bit.
One that I must admit, I didn't know the magnitude of when I first set off. When I first took that very first step, I didn't quite fathom the fact I'd be walking for 10 plus hours every single day for 6 days across Scotland, and the toll it's had on my body. I've got to say it right now, my bloody body's amazing. Like, thank you.
It is really good.
Like, what it can do, it surprises me. Like, and everybody's probably the same. Like, what you can actually put yourself through is ridiculous. Like, I don't think we've really ever pushed our kind of boundaries. Certainly I've not in that capacity before. To walk over a marathon every single day for 6 days with my golf clubs on my back, when quite simply at some points I was in so much agonizing pain that I couldn't even get to the bathroom from my bed in a hotel room. So they'll then be able to go on and walk 20 odd miles a day. It's ridiculous. So
it's incredible.
No, it was really good. It's definitely one of those things that I am going to look back on in many years' time and go, that was pretty awesome. And the support from all the fans, the donations, the messages, like I said, the comments that I've had have just been absolutely amazing. All the well-wishers I had en route. So we had a live tracker. Loads of people came out, went beyond they needed to do to come and say hello, to beat the horn as they drove past. We got offered lifts by taxi drivers, by van drivers, who obviously didn't take any lifts. The support from the golf clubs at Prestwick, which we are going to come on to in a minute, because Prestwick is such an amazing place. We did a break 75 there, played with Guy and the head pro Dave. The support we got at Codder Golf Club, at Glen Eagles, and then finally at St Andrews, the old course. It just made it so magical. The fact that, like I say, we managed to raise 120 grand. Like, it is mad, that, isn't it?
It's insane.
Because I didn't really know at the start of it how much was possible. I didn't have an idea. We had a kind of rough goal in mind, trying to break 26 grand. I kind of thought we might do that just from previous fundraisers I've done so far. But to get over that 100,000 mark has been pretty incredible. So, it was awesome. I thoroughly loved it, like from start to finish. Obviously, it was hard. But at the end, weirdly, I didn't want it to finish.
Yeah, I get
How weird is that?
No, it's weird, but because of the pain you've been through, and I'm guessing sometimes the boredom and the challenge. But yeah, that was your life for 6 days. And I think you said before, again, off kind of the camera, that it was quite a simple life. You get up, you put your golf clubs on your back, you put your shoes on, you just walk and you eat and you drink, and that repeats 6 days in a row. Something quite like simplistic, although it was horrible, I guess, in parts. Something quite simple and, I don't know, nice about it.
It was stick loads of Vaseline on.
Yes.
in all the places the sun doesn't shine. Eat as much food as I can possibly eat. It was literally like being on an all-inclusive holiday, possibly the worst all-inclusive holiday ever. But the fact I could eat as much as I wanted. The support team, amazing support team, by the way. So Alec, Ben, and Katie, who basically were there to fully guide me. They're almost professional walkers. They do all sorts of expeditions across all different places. This was the first time they'd ever done this particular sort of fundraising, but they supported me amazingly. We had the lads there. Obviously, you were there for a few days at the start, which was amazing. You walked the first 4 miles.
Well, the first 4 miles of 150.
Matt, who's behind the podcast now, Harry and Ed, who literally filmed pretty much every bit of it. We are going to make a video about it. It's going to be like a mini documentary. You'll see a lot more behind the scenes, the things that I didn't put on social media. There was tears. There was blood.
Can imagine.
There was, beautiful views. There was some rougher parts,
and that was just a break 75.
But yeah, no, like I say, when I got into St Andrews Sunday afternoon, there was probably about 200 odd people around, pretty much.
Loads.
There was probably even closer to maybe 300. Loads of people there. They gave me a good kind of minute applause, which I must admit, all I was doing was fighting back the tears, going, don't cry. My family had only just met me 10 minutes earlier. I'd not seen all week, my 3 kids and my wife. And we walked onto the most iconic golf course in the whole of the world.
Yes.
Like in one of I always say, but one of yours and mine favourite places in the whole of the world. The sun was out. It was at the end, the final leg. I didn't even have to walk the full golf course because we'd already done the mileage pretty much. And to be able to say hello to everyone, take loads of selfies, sign golf balls. I signed golf balls, phone covers, golf bags, a guy's t-shirt.
Phone cover? That's a strange one.
The back of a phone cover.
Yeah, fair dues.
Loads of other bits. And then to walk down first with all these amazing people who were supported, with my family there. Like I say, it was just incredible. Like really, really etched into my mind. I know it's only just happened, but that will be etched into my mind forever. We walked down 1, 2, 17 and 18 and coming over the Swilcan Bridge where the guys at Prostate Cancer and my team had put like a lovely archway to finish, and we popped open the champagne, loads of amazing pictures. And I must admit at that point I was like, I could keep going at this point.
You should have carried on.
Let's go back.
Yeah, let's do it again.
One guy en route actually said, I think we were walking through Glasgow, a guy came up on his bike and he'd nipped out from work and he came down the hill and, Rick, I just wanted to get a quick picture and say that well done. I was like, oh, great. He said, my mate Jordan over in America says you're doing the easy way. So what do you mean? He said, you should do it Prestwick to St Andrews and St Andrews back. I was like, don't even start, mate, because this is 150 is pretty good. So yeah, no, it was epic. And like I say, it was one of those things that I'm going to treasure forever. And I'm already planning next year's challenge.
Wow.
Which is going to be bigger, bolder, harder than this year's.
I've not heard about this yet. I'm intrigued.
It's going to be pretty awesome. So yeah, no, honestly, it was awesome. And yeah, I don't really know what else to say. I mean, the only other thing, I had one big hiccup. So after day 3, Rachel McQueen joined me the whole of day 3, which was lovely of her. And we were going through Stirling, and the last 2 miles of that day, getting up to 26 miles, I was honestly crawling the speed I was going. Like my feet felt like they were almost doing like little tiny baby steps, because my legs were just knackered. Like I was absolutely exhausted. And I got into my room that night and I've done a little piece to the vlog camera, and I'm thinking to myself, I don't understand how I'm going to get through tomorrow. Like today was the hardest day without question. I woke up that next day and honestly, as I mentioned earlier, I could not get from my bed to my bathroom, which was yards away.
It's mad.
And I'm like, hanging on the wall. And even like I got to the toilet and I had to like hold myself up. And I'm thinking, I can't walk today. Like, this is not possible. But I thought to myself, I am going to do it, but I don't understand how. Like my mind can't comprehend. I've not got a solution to my problem. So Katie, who's the medic with us, examined me. Luckily, it was a slightly later start that day. And she examined my left foot, which was where the pain was. And we discovered I had a stress fracture in the top of my foot. And she gave me 2 options. She said, we can go to option 1, we can go to the hospital.
Amputate it.
Get a knife from the all-you-can-eat breakfast at Premier Inn. We can go to the hospital, get x-rayed. It's going to take ages. You're going to have to stop the walk, and they're going to tell you to rest. Or we can ice it, take painkillers, and carry on walking. I was like, well, let's do option 2, because I'm not doing option 1.
Wow.
And even then, like putting the ice on, it was killing me. I was in like agonizing pain. To describe it, she said to me, every time you step, like take pressure on your foot, what's the pain between 0 and 10? At the time I was like 8. Wow. Compared to the worst pain I've ever felt. So I had some painkillers, I iced it. I managed to walk to the support van, which dropped me off at my location that day. And I got out the support van. I'm still like, this is killing me, really killing me. They gave me the walking poles, which really helped. And I thought, right, just walk. Forget the pain, just walk. And I did the first 10 steps. I'm like, oh my God, the pain is so bad. I did the next 100 steps. I'm thinking, the pain's still really bad. Next thing, I'm 3 miles into the day going, this is really hurting, but I'm getting it done.
That's mad.
But I don't understand how my legs are working, but they are just going and going and going. And once I finished that day, I finished at Glen Eagles. This was the Friday. I finished at Glen Eagles. Amazing place. We've got to do break 75 there, by the way. Have you ever been to Glen Eagles?
Yes. I've not played it, though, but it was, I stayed for my brother's 30th birthday. It was incredible.
Nice is it?
And we went to go and play golf, and it started snowing.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, so we couldn't play.
So we walked around the King's Course, which is, I didn't know was the hilliest golf course there. With loads of fans came out, kind of 40 odd fans came out. And I finished that day, and Glen Eagles was very nice to put me up in the hotel that night for a night of luxury. And I got into my hotel room that night, and I got the little vlogging camera, and I almost celebrated. I was like, I don't understand how I've got through today.
It's not like it's a mile walk, 26 miles after you've fractured your foot.
Yeah. I looked in the camera like, I don't understand how I've got through today. But I knew once I'd got through that, I could get through day 5 and 6. I just knew I could. And to be honest, I actually got over the pain and actually fully immersed myself and loved day 5 and 6.
From what I saw on the videos and when I spoke to you, I think on a FaceTime, you looked like after that, you like a new person.
I was just like buzzing. I was just like the energy, because I thought to myself, if I can get through that day when I thought it was impossible, as long as I don't feel worse than that, I can get through tomorrow. And I woke up the day after Glen Eagles on the Saturday morning, and I was like, well, I don't feel as bad. I can easily get through. I had to ice my feet loads. I had to put my feet in ice and really cold baths and this, that, and the other. But yeah, it was pretty epic. But yeah, that's hopefully the mini documentary will kind of show a little bit more of the trials and tribulations, and you can find out what I cried about and potentially a hint for what's next.
No, that's awesome, and I'm sure a lot of the people listening and watching will want to go and watch that, because I do. It'll be interesting. Obviously, I wasn't there for a lot of it, for most of it, really. So to see behind the scenes, I think that will be very exciting. It's been a big week.
I know, that's the only thing I did miss. It was the bloody US Open.
So, yeah, we've got, I mean, obviously, this is out on Wednesday now, so we're a couple of days delayed, obviously, for obvious reasons. But the US Open was absolutely incredible. I watched a lot of it, and certainly on the Sunday, I watched almost every single shot, apart from 9 till 10, I watched Love Island, so I'll hold my hands up to that. But, to be fair, the US Open app this year was almost on par with the Masters app. You could watch most of the shots. That's so any bits that you did miss, you could watch on there, which was really good. Obviously, as everybody knows, Matt Fitzpatrick went on to win. He won by a single shot at the golf course. He won the US Amateur in 2013. I was always, I'll be honest now, wasn't against Matt Fitzpatrick at all, but I didn't like him. I was just somewhere very much in between, very kind of neutral. The way he played, the way he celebrated on his press conference afterwards, I must admit I am now a fan. I think he was so incredibly humble. I don't know if you saw on when he won on 18, his brother Alex, who's obviously just turned pro as well, walked on and actually bypassed his brother for a minute to go and commiserate Will Zalatoris. because they're pals, I think, from uni or played a lot of golf together as well. I thought it was a nice touch. Obviously, a really nice family, kind of very down-to-earth family. And to see what it meant to him, and it was his first win, obviously, in America. And I don't know if you heard that quite nice flex that he's a member at the Bears Club, Jack Nicklaus's place, and he won the member tournament the other week, apparently, or the other month. And Jack apparently said to him, Jack Nicklaus, "Oh, it's nice to see you finally win in America." So he's giving him a bit of stick.
Did I see a clip of Jack ringing Matt as well?
I think he did, yeah. I think it must be quite pally, which obviously is quite a cool thing,
really
that
cool.
Jack Nicklaus is your friend and FaceTimes you and stuff. But yeah, the way he played, obviously everybody's seen that shot on 18 at the bunker. It was absolutely incredible. The way he had to fade it around the kind of hill within a bunker and the shape with a 9-iron that he did, and it landed to like 20 foot. He was absolutely phenomenal. And the way he's gained distance and speed, he was always known as being kind of quite a short hitter, very straight. His ball speed's up like 181, which that's like your Rory McIlroy, your Dustin Johnson territory.
And he's not visibly looks like he's not done a Bryson and bulked up and got this speed. It seems to be slowly but surely kind of incremental changes to get him to the position he's at
apparently
now.
He's been using the swing trainer thing, so like the speed sticks, like those orange whips or whatever, and he has mentioned the brand. I can't think what it's called now, but it was in one of his press conferences, and apparently he was using that after lockdown for a bit and saw some gains, and so his driving increased, and I think he then kind of went off it for a while and actually lost distance naturally, but also lost accuracy, believe it or not.
Oh, why?
So he's got back onto that kind of speed journey, but not excessively from what it looks like, and he's just killing it. His driving incredible, his accuracy with his irons is incredible, he's chipping, although it's a bit funky with the crock-handed. What's the word?
Well, it's cack-handed, but I'm not sure if that's...
Is it more like of a...
I think cross-handed is probably, or left below right, is probably a slightly more commonly used phrase these days.
And his chipping is good. His putting is obviously incredible.
Well, he's obviously coached by Phil Kenyon, friend of the channel, who's been on the podcast before. He's always been renowned as an incredible putter. He really has. He puts with the flag in.
It does look good for some reason. I quite like it. I'm a fan of it.
And when you speak to other pros, they seem to really, really rate Matt Fitzpatrick's putting. Like, they almost see him. But he doesn't ever seem to put himself in that much contentious positions to show off his pressure putting, really. He always obviously just plays really nicely. Yeah. So yeah, it was incredible to see, and like I say, English lad winning again. When I've seen him hit golf balls, it was always notably a lot lower than a lot of other players, flight wise. That looks like it's changed as well. It looks
that's
like
a speed potentially.
I think that's a speed because he goes super strong with the left hand grip, which would really favour a low left. But he kind of holds it really strong and holds it off crazy, and he's started to get this kind of high flighted fade now.
Yeah, it's cool that.
I'd like to say his ball speed gains are ridiculous. There's always this tail, and I actually met up with Alex Fitzpatrick, his brother, at last year's Open qualifying, which we'll come on to in a little bit. There's always these rumours that like Alex is even better than Matt.
You always get that, don't you?
Massively. But there could be a bit of a formidable force because, like I say, Alex has just turned pro. It would be great to see the pair of them out there and battling away. You got a few kind of brothers and stuff now, and sisters in the Corda sisters. So it'd be quite interesting to see. But yeah, it's an incredible win. The golf course looked really, really hard.
It looked hard, but kind of like fair as well. If you missed the green, there was thick, juicy rough that obviously looks like terrible. But don't miss the green then. Do you know what I mean? It was great.
That's what Matt did. He hit 17 out of 18 greens on the final day.
Insane. And I think what I loved as well, I've said this loads of times on the podcast, I don't watch loads of tour golf, which I want to start watching more. I should be watching more. But I was glued to this. And I think for me, it was a win-win because I wanted Matt to win. He's an English guy. He's a good golfer. He deserves a win, I feel like.
He's just a very humble, kind of genuine boy next door. Well, you kind of want to win.
Yeah, and I must admit,
he's easy to root for.
Yeah, but I wish that we could see, and maybe this Netflix documentary that's going to be coming out in a year or so that's like the Drive to Survive thing, maybe that will give us more people to root for, because from watching Drive to Survive and learning about the F1 drivers, you see a lot of the personality that you wouldn't normally see, obviously, when they're racing or even in giving interviews. So I think hopefully that will shine more light on guys like Matt, because when I watched his interview, and it was like a 20-minute long press conference, you could see he was beaming, he was obviously in such a great mood, but you could tell, like you said, he was down to earth and a real nice guy. So maybe we'll start to see more of these guys in that light. But obviously he was playing well and obviously went on to win. You had Zalatoris, who is incredible in majors, who again is going to win one soon and deserves to win one. He played so well. And then Scotty Scheffler. I love golfers like Tiger in the day that are just dominant, just go out and just either win everything or come top 5.
He's unbelievable, isn't he?
So good. So I wanted him. I was happy if any of them won. I thought whichever one wins, it's a great story for golf. The kind of cool guys, the young guys, it's going to shine more eyeballs on the world of golf. And yeah, what a tournament. I absolutely loved it.
I think probably the PGA Tour and a lot of these tours that are trying their best to show that they're the best events, like the majors and the PGA Tour, have had a couple of phenomenal weeks with Rory winning in Canada, which we covered a couple last week, with obviously Matt Fitzpatrick winning over here, winning the US Open with a really strong field. Over the last few weeks, it has been a good advert for golf, like just good. Good golf, regardless of where you're watching it, what tours, and kind of may it continue, really.
Well, the other big news that was announced today as we're doing this, but yesterday when you're listening and watching, and we've done a little clip on, is that Brooks Koepka has signed to the LIV Golf Tour. So, as I said, yesterday, Tuesday, we released a short video clip on the Rick Shiels Golf Show YouTube channel. So if you want to watch that, go over it shortly and watch it. It's about 7-minute long clip where we gave kind of our thoughts and a bit more information. But for those of you that haven't seen that, we'll just touch on that briefly. So Brooks Koepka, former world number 1, he's currently world number 19, I believe. He has signed to LIV Golf. At the time of recording this, we're not sure on the fee that he got paid. We may never hear it officially. There's rumours between $100 million and $150, which is, I think, his on-course earnings to date are around $40 million. So if that's true, it's roughly 3 times what he's ever earned on course.
Paid more than Bryson?
Potentially.
Maybe to play?
Well, imagine. But, I mean...
I feel like there's definitely that conversation. He's just gone in and gone, how much did you pay Bryson? Okay, I just want more.
Yeah.
Well, just make it like that.
We touched on this again in that clip, but like his brother Chase is obviously signed to LIV, and he's like world number 1,600 and something. Was that part of the deal early on? Get my brother a gig, and I'll come as well, potentially. Yeah. I don't know. But
the only thing I hope now, but I don't think it's going to be a quick thing. LIV doesn't seem like it's going anywhere. It seems like it's here. It's happening. It's only, the field is only going to get stronger. We're seeing that day on day.
Sure.
Like, who knows? We're releasing this on Wednesday. They might have announced another 2 players, 3 players.
The room again, as we're recording this now, the rumor is that Morikawa's going to sign. I'm looking on Twitter as we speak, and it's getting so. Again, by the time this podcast is released, that could have happened. If they get Morikawa, that's another monster of a name.
The only thing I want to kind of disappear is these outlandish, ridiculous amounts of money, because I'm not. Even though we've just talked about it, I'm not that bothered. And as a golf fan, I just want to see good quality golf, the best players, wherever they're going to play. I don't know how it's going to be just yet. And it doesn't have to be just one place. Obviously, the PGA Tour have come out. Jay Monahan has come out and said they're suspended. A lot of these guys are quitting the PGA Tour. That's madness, that. Is that going to change? Like, is Jay Monahan's hand going to be forced? He has to go, you know what? We need these guys, because if we lose another 10 of these guys, our product is not as desirable. Like, we're not going to be able to bring in as much money.
I think
or do you think he'll have to resign and somebody else comes in?
Yeah, I've no idea. It feels at the moment, again, we've touched on this, and I'm conscious that some people listening are kind of a little bit sick of the LIV conversation, but we're going to have to keep talking about it for the short term, because it's such big news. And it is massively changing the face of golf as we know it, of tournament professional golf. But yeah, the PGA Tour are kind of stuck in between a rock and a hard place, aren't they? If they suddenly say, actually, yeah, you can play, then they've kind of admitted defeat. And ultimately, how many of the guys are going to want to play on the PGA Tour? If they're playing in the future 12, 13, 14 weeks on LIV, 4 majors, that's 16 events a year, do they need to play the PGA Tour? But then if they want to dip the toe in, maybe they won't play 1 or 2 events, but then the guys who've been loyal to the PGA Tour, surely they're going to say, well, I'll go and do LIV then if that's the case. So I really have no idea. I don't know what's going to happen, but I can see the DP World Tour thriving. I can see that being where the guys go and play the odd event.
But also, is that going to fracture their relationship with the PGA Tour?
I think it will, but I don't think DP World will really care.
They can't be picky.
And it's... it's very interesting. I don't know. I think for golfers, for golf fans, we want to see the best players playing the best events. And, watching that US Open, I touched on this last week in the podcast, looking at Matt Fitzpatrick going onto that golf course, being a legitimate, European Tour winner and walking off now a major champion. You see him in a different light. You think, you know what? You were already an amazing, amazing golfer, but now you're in that class of the elite, world class. There's not many guys in the grand scheme of things who can say they've won a major in golf. I don't think certainly for the next number of years, you will have that with LIV because it just feels too new. But do you have to have that more than 4 times a year? Is 4 times a year to have these real prestige events, the Open, the Masters, the US Open, the USPGA, is that enough of those real? That means something. Can the rest of the year be almost exhibitions?
Could be.
Yeah, I don't know.
It really could be. I also want to spend time to give another shout out to Matt's caddy.
Yes.
So this is an incredible story. So Billy Foster is Matt Fitzpatrick's caddy. He's caddied for 40 years in professional golf. He's caddied for some of the biggest names in the world of golf, including Seve.
Yes.
Darren Clarke, Sergio Garcia, Lee Westwood for a long time, Tiger Woods.
See, I didn't know that one.
Yeah, I'll even show you this picture.
It's proof. Well, did you say this was when? Oh, yeah, wow.
At the President's Cup, I think he was stepping for...
Steve Williams.
Steve Williams was about to have a baby, that's right. By all accounts, a lovely, lovely man. People speak very highly of him. And I must admit, bar Steve Williams, possibly one of the most famous caddies.
I would say so, yeah.
Like you've
got Bones.
Yeah.
He's got to be top handful, hasn't he?
Yeah, well, I can't name that many. And he'd be one that he does loads of after dinner speaking. He's apparently really funny.
He must have to be insane. We need to get him on the podcast.
We do need to get him on the podcast.
That'd be so good.
It would be amazing. Who else? I think he's caddied for Thomas Bjorn, all sorts. Anyway, you'd imagine, and I didn't know this, you'd imagine for the amount of quality golfers he's caddied for, he's never won a major.
Yeah.
None of his players at the time have won a major. And that doesn't make him a bad caddy, by the way. Just means that he just wasn't there at the right time. Matt was his first major victory.
On the 18th green, I don't know who was more emotional. Genuinely, it was
almost like Matt was consoling Billy.
Yeah, no, it was. And I think that's the beautiful thing with like this relationship with caddies. It's, you have different guys have different relationships with the caddies. So some see it purely as a business thing. They'll meet each other an hour and a half before they tee off, whatever. They'll do the 18 holes, and then the caddy will go off, and they'll go off. You get some guys like Rory who've got into employ the best friend, who he's also Harry Diamond's an amazing golfer as well, who knows his stuff. But that's more of a relationship. I want someone on the golf course that I feel comfortable with, that I can go for a drink with afterwards.
That was a slightly weird one though with him, wasn't it, as well?
The week that Harry was off,
having a baby also.
Yeah, Rory went and won. Which is crazy. You've then got guys like Lee Westwood now, who is obviously having his wife on the bag and his son. He's been there and done it. He doesn't really need advice on what to do. He just wants someone to talk to and probably talk about non-golf things in between shots. But, the caddy is something that it's a strange... I don't think there's many other relationships in sport like it, from what I can think of, where you're with the athlete at all times.
You really are.
It's not even like a football manager, because during the 90 minutes they can shout things, but they're not with them, are they? And it must be, they get paid very well if you're a good caddy. Obviously, the money they can make is incredible, certainly on the LIV Tour, from what I've heard, obviously. But to actually spend every day, carrying that bag around, giving advice, you probably do feel like, and rightly so, a massive part of the win.
It must be sort of quite frustrating as well, though, sometimes. Like,
they say hit a shot and then they fat it or something, and you're like, you just cost me 20 grand.
But also, like, you're right on, you can control it, but you've not got full control.
It must be worse in some ways,
You've probably, you can't put a percentage on it, but you've probably got 5% of control over what the player's going to do. And sometimes that works in your favour. There'll be times where caddies have made bad decisions and they give wrong yardages and they give wrong clubs or the wind directions. I think it's quite a stressful job. Like I feel like there's a lot of pressure on you. You've got to be out there every single day, carrying a massive golf bag. You've got to have everything in perfect condition and everything else. You've got to look after yourself, fend for yourself as well often the times. But yeah, massive shout out to Billy Foster.
Is it? I'm sure this is. It's a bit of a silly question because I think I know the answer. But obviously within professional golf, becoming a major champion is the biggest thing you can do. Is that how it's seen within the caddy kind of world as well? That he'll now be seen by his peers as a major champion caddy?
Yeah, I reckon so, yeah.
Must be, mustn't it? And they keep the flag off 18. And
yeah, because Scheffler's caddy now, Ted Scott, isn't it? He's kind of like, if you've ever seen him on social media, he's brilliant on social media.
I have.
He's really
kind the lawnmower and the flag.
Yeah, he's really kind of almost like bringing out his own personality, and they are obviously the people as well. They've got their own lives and their own backgrounds, and yeah, if anyone knows Billy and we can get him on the podcast, that'd be absolutely incredible because I think he would be superb.
Speaking of majors, though, we've got a nice little segue.
I was going to say, speaking about caddying.
Oh, go on.
Are we going to talk about the same topic, though?
Yes, we are. So, I'm going to come on to that in a second. So, speaking of majors, the Open is fast approaching. And as you, I'm sure, know, if you listen to this podcast and you watch it week in, week out, we are champions of the Open. We love the Open.
Open.
So much so, I've heard you recently starting saying it's your favourite major over the Masters, but I've also heard you say it depends on the time of year.
It really does. April, and Masters.
I get that.
April, I wear green. July, I wear blue and yellow.
Play links golf. Yeah, no, I get it. For me, it is always the Open. However, I must admit, Masters week, I do get really into the Masters. It's a toss of a coin.
Yeah.
Either one is the best. I can see both sides. But the Open is coming around soon. And the Open qualifying happened yesterday or 2 days ago when you listen to this, which we're going to come on to very shortly. But the first ever Open, and I think the next 20 or 12, whatever it was after that, good few anyway, were played at Prestwick Golf Club, which is where my hat right now. The first Open, 1860. The story, I mean, since we went to St Andrews last year, I've become a little bit of a golf history kind of fan. Certainly with the St Andrews, old Tom Morris, Alan Robertson, who was Tom Morris's boss. I've become kind of obsessed with how golf as we know it kind of started.
Yeah.
And golf was going on for hundreds of years before this kind of era. But old Tom Morris in particular and Alan Robertson were the kind of real pioneers of golf as we know it today. And old Tom Morris was working at the old course at St Andrews, and he was working for Alan Robertson, and they had a disagreement about golf balls. And then old Tom went to Prestwick, and that golf course was formed, and the Open as we know it was formed in 1860. And you started your walk there. But as we said earlier on, before your walk, the day before we played it for Break 75, what a golf course.
It's gone right up there very, very quickly into one of my favourite golf courses I've played.
100%.
And it's more the venue. The golf course is very, very interesting.
Yeah.
If we didn't play it with the head pro Dave, we would have really, really struggled because it's one of those courses you need to know your way around. You need advice, don't you, really?
Yes.
And so we played it on the Monday literally a week ago, just before I did the walk across. And I did the walk from Prestwick because it is the first ever Open venue, and I walked 150 miles to the 150th Open at St Andrews this year, so it all kind of fits in quite nicely. The history of the place, it's kind of quite magical. It's kind of in a different way, as magical as St Andrews.
Yeah, I would say so.
It's got its own kind of history in the fact that the golf course used to be 12 holes.
It did.
It used to be played a different way, which there might be an opportunity to play it in its original form later on this year, which I think we should make a video about. Since that, it's expanded over to 18 holes. It's still as original as it is now when it was first kind of made into this 18 holes. So many interesting green complexes.
Yeah.
Like the greens were so phenomenally interesting.
Mad.
There's a blind par 3.
Yes.
Which you never get now, do you really?
That is one of the most interesting holes and unique holes that I've ever seen.
Yeah. There was a really, really blind second shot into the 17th. Yeah. The 15th, which is called the Narrows. We'd not played that golf course before. I hit an unbelievable 3-iron, exactly where Dave told me to hit.
Yeah.
If I would have known how tight it was in that alleyway, I wouldn't have hit it that straight.
100%. That's the kind of golf course I would say to get the best score on it. It'll be probably your first time, but you need someone with you. So someone like Dave, who was the pro, who was amazing, he says, like you said, hit at that marker or hit over that bunker, and you do. And then you get down and you go, oh my word, if I'd have gone 10 foot further left, there's that or there's this. I think if you played it again, once you know that trouble's there, that would get in your head. It really would.
There's a bunker called the Sahara.
Yes,
because
for obvious
reasons.
It's
so big on the 17th. Just phenomenal. Just really, really, really interesting.
The pro shop.
The pro shop was amazing.
It's got merch for days.
Dave, I didn't get the assistant's name actually.
It's gone out my
I feel
head
like
now.
I want to say Nathan, but I'm not
No, I
sure.
don't
So
think
the assistant in there as well was so helpful. And Ken, the club secretary, came and saw us. Like it's traditional, but it doesn't feel stuffy.
No.
Does it? It feels like feels quite modern but traditional.
Well, they have over obviously that side of Scotland. Well, on both sides, they have a lot of American tourists, a lot of just general tourists. It's right near Troon. It's near Dunbar?
Dundonald Link.
I was getting up with Dundonald Links. So I think these kind of golf clubs, they have to kind of naturally embrace their traditions, which is why people are going, but also be very welcoming and very good hospitality because they're getting so much income in from these kind of tourists. But what I said, the pro shop had all this merch with the first open or whatever it says, and I've got the hat on now. What a golf course. And I think anyone that plays there and knows a little bit about the story, you're just in awe of the place.
Yeah, it's magical. How would you describe the way I played on the back nine?
The way you played on the back nine? I forgot.
So memorable, yeah?
I was trying to beat around the bush then. I literally can't. Let me think.
At least on the last like 6 or 7 holes.
Yeah, you were solid. You were very, very solid.
Wow.
You were hitting it very straight.
Thank you.
You were hitting it wherever Dave said to, you were putting it.
Correct.
I don't want to give any scores away. You hit some... What was that hole where you messed up on the green, though? Was it maybe 14?
First mess up or the second mess up?
I can't remember.
The 13th. The really hard hole.
Yes.
That hit 2 of the great shots in my life.
That's exactly
to
it.
hit the green.
That green was a stinker, though.
And then messed it up. My putting wasn't great, which has frustrated me. But yeah, that break 75 will come out
now.
this Friday.
It is memorable.
But I hit a lot of very, very, very good shots.
Your golf's getting good.
Yeah, and we finished at 10 o'clock at night.
Yes.
I must admit, though, now I've had a week off because I've been walking over Scotland, as you do. And I don't know what my game's going to be like. So hopefully, if my foot repairs by then this week, we're going to film another break 75 and we'll soon find out.
You'll be really fit at least.
And if not, I've got an excuse.
Yeah.
Got a broken foot, Anna.
But obviously, the unique thing with the Open and the US Open, certainly the Open over here, is it's open. It is what it says in the tin.
It is open from the very date of 1860.
Yes.
That was the whole idea of it.
And if you're in the current standards anyway, I'm not fully sure on when it very first started, but if you're a professional golfer, you've just turned professional or you've done your PGA, you can enter Open qualifying. Or if you're an amateur with a scratch handicap or better, you can attend qualifying. And what's the fee? Is it 150 quid or so?
Yeah, I've obviously not done it for a few years, but it's probably about 150 quid.
Which I can see why so many people and amateurs who are off scratch do it, because you might go in as an amateur and go, you know what, I'm a scratch golfer. I've just got onto scratch 3 months ago. In reality, there's not much chance of me getting through the first stage, but I want to enter it for that experience. I'll play with some good players and I'll play a great golf course, and it'll be an experience that I'm technically in a sense playing in the Open. You're playing the first stage of the Open. And your friend, John Beasley, who I played with recently as well, he is an absolute baller. I'll let you explain obviously more about him. He did okay.
He did all right. He did all right. So, yeah, there's 15 open venues. So this year, locally to us, Fairhaven is one, and Caldy Golf Club over in the Wirral. There's loads of other golf courses that, again, they're pretty normally spectacular, nice golf courses. Loads of really good names did well in it. But yeah, so I got a message yesterday afternoon while I was sat on the beach at St Andrews from my really good friend John Beasley, who I've played loads of golf with, who a member of MIA, who we played golf with, like you say, JCB recently with his dad as well. Plays off.
Is it plus 6 or something like that?
He's off about plus 5 or 6.
Outrageous.
He's pretty handy, right? He didn't tell any of us he's doing open qualifying, right?
That.
And I must admit, before the start of day, I looked at Fairhaven. I thought, I bet he's going to do it there. And I searched his name. I couldn't find him. I was like, he's not doing it.
He's not doing it then, yeah.
Got a text message about 12 o'clock yesterday. Hey, lads, I've done pretty well. and he sends his scorecard over, and he shot 5 under par, a 67. So he played to his handicap, basically.
36 points.
67 at Caldy Golf Club. Caldy Golf Club. He had no bogeys on the scorecard. He had an eagle on the front 9 and 3 birdies on the back 9, and he won regional qualifying to go on to final qualifying next week.
That's incredible.
The more exciting news, I got a phone call this morning.
Okay.
Off my new best friend, basically.
Well, he was your friend before, I'll give you that, but now all of a sudden he's become best friend. That's the weird thing.
He's like, I might actually get married again and maybe have him as my best man. Funny story, we actually got married on the same day, but a year apart. So we share anniversaries as well. Basically,
we're basically just brothers.
Almost brothers. So his brother who just moved to Australia probably won't say that.
You do look like you could be like brothers in a way.
Someone said actually on the message girl shared it, someone said he looks like you, but he's like the shaved, a bit of an older version.
He does look a bit like you, I can get that.
He looks like Sergio Garcia, I think.
Yeah, a bit of that as well.
He really does. Yeah. So John rang me this morning and said to me, I'm doing open qualifying next Tuesday at St Anne's Old Links. Would you like to caddy for me? I'm like, yes, I bloody would. I said, I'm really good at carrying a bag.
Yes.
And I'm really good at walking.
2 rounds easy.
So, yeah, next Tuesday, I'm going to be caddying in final qualifying.
That is insane.
For John Beasley at St Anne's Old Links. I'll distribute information. I said, am I allowed to talk about it? Do you want people coming down? He said, I'd love people to come down.
Watch then.
Yeah, he said, I'd love people to come down. And if he qualifies for the Open, I might be bloody caddying in the Open.
That'd be incredible. So, for the regional qualifying, was it top 9 or something get through from each one? I feel like
it varies. It's 9 or 10, roughly.
So that will be, if there was the 9 venues as well,
15
50,
venues.
so there's 150 people, and then other people get straight into final, don't they? Who might be like a certain level of Tour Pro or whatever it might be.
But it's over like 3 different golf courses.
Yeah, so like 60 odd maybe each venue, and then is it like 3 get through each venue?
Oh no, I think it's still almost 100 at each venue.
Oh right, okay, so
still a lot
of people, and then like the top 3 get through.
Yeah.
So it's obviously very, very tough, but I think that is the magic of the Open. Someone like John, who can clearly play very good golf, if he does that again 2 days in a row, which is possible, of course it is. He'll be in the Open.
It's madness. It's 3. Don't get me wrong, there were incredible rounds of golf against incredible, talented golfers, the best amateurs that are probably going to play in anything, and the best pros. You're 3 rounds of golf away from playing in the Open. Like, he could legitimately in July be teeing it up at St Andrews for the 150th Open. Like, what other sport do you get that chance in?
That's what is so unique about it.
I can't go to the local go-kart track and try and qualify for next week's F1, can I?
No.
Like, I can't go to the local five-a-side football pitch and suddenly be playing in next year's World Cup.
Give me a trial, mate.
I can't. You don't get it in any other sports. Maybe tennis.
Maybe snooker.
Yeah, well,
some sports does it. Some sports you can, but we don't know.
Golf does it really good. Really good. So, yeah, I'm really excited about that. And I think it's going to be pretty epic.
What kind of caddy will you be? Are you going to be a carry and shut up? Or are you going to try and give advice? Or just say, like, if you want advice, ask me? Or...
Well, the good news is we actually played... the last time we played at St Anne's Old Links.
That was your band today, wasn't it? When you went in the...
We got smashed.
Yeah, was that when you went in the cab? I think you talked about on the podcast. You went in the mini cab or whatever.
Smashed.
Yeah.
So me and John, I think did we win the day? Because it was the time where there was 2 groups, 3 players in each group. And at the end of it, we had exactly the same score. But I'm sure me and John shot like, I mean, it was in the winter, so a tiny bit easier, but we shot like 3 or 4 under par each. So I do know the golf course. St Anne's Old Links, like, the greens aren't too challenging or complicated.
What you see is what you get, really, don't you?
There's 4 par 5s, 2 on the front 9, 2 on the back.
17 and 18.
17 and 18. John is incredible at putting. He's very, very straight off the tee. It's a course that can suit him.
Obviously, I've only played with him the once at JCB, and he kind of like, he hits it, not like necessarily better than you would hit it, but it's like every time. Whereas like you've got a great drive, and I have as well. You've got a great drive in the can, then it could hit a snap up that's like horrendous. I feel like from what I've seen, the short bit I've seen from it's like he tees it up, you know what's coming, coming, and that kind of golf, I guess, under pressure is obviously a very good thing.
Yeah, his misses are never bad.
Yeah.
Like I've never seen him miss badly.
I'd love it if he got through.
Oh, it'd be the best in the world. Imagine. I'm there doing work for the Open and MasterCard.
Sack them off.
I'm really sorry, guys. I'm just going to quickly go and caddy for my mate. He's teeing off at 3. I'm there running down at 5 to 3. Sorry, John. But who knows? Who knows? I'm not thinking too far ahead, but I'm also thinking very far ahead. But very, 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 very exciting.
Who do you think will win the Open? John Beasley?
I think so. Well,
it'd be like if it's just, like be about 2:00 on the Friday, and it's amateurs walking down the 36th hole, and everyone's like, "Why is caddy stopped on the Swilcan Bridge taking selfies?" Oh, it's that guy does YouTube videos.
I'll be filming every bit. I'll have a hat cam on. I'll have 2 cameras. I'll be filming every single bit.
Loads of sponsored logoed up.
I'll be sponsoring from head to toe. Yeah. But to be fair, he does have his own fantastic blinds company, South Cheshire Blinds. So make sure you check him out. A little free plug for him there. Who's
gonna win? I think Fitzy could do well now after that performance.
Well, obviously we played it a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
It is. I don't like to say it, but it isn't that hard.
No.
Is it really? The only thing that makes it hard is the weather, and the rough. After seeing it just gone this weekend, it's definitely thicker than when we played it. Even
I think it's not so much that it's hard, but I still think there's some element of being fairly accurate, because you can bomb it round there and you'll find your ball. That's a given. But you might not have the best lines into the pins. And with those with those greens having so many mad undulations, like, let's just say Bryson bombs it round there. I know he's not playing great, but if he's got a wedge in, then that's fine, he'll hit the green. But you might then bounce around and have a hard... I don't know. I think it's still some level of accuracy.
Definitely. The one thing I did want to mention earlier, and we might even pop this in earlier or just keep it here.
Let's keep it in.
Once I'd finished the walk, I also went to the Jigger, had some food with my wife, and met up with our good friend, the drone pilot.
Yeah.
Looked after us. We stayed at the Old Course Hotel. I wanted to give them a massive shout out because they looked after us as well, which was amazing. I've not really talked about the day I had in St Andrews with the family.
Oh, no?
Am I right to talk about it for a minute? Do you mind?
I do mind.
Okay.
Of course, I want to hear about it.
Because my family's never been to St Andrews.
Oh, wow.
Like, my wife's never been there. My kids have never been there.
What did she think? What did Claire think, first of all?
She thinks it's one of the most beautiful places in the
Really?
world.
I'm glad you said that, because I didn't know if you'd weirdly say, because she doesn't get that vibe of the golf, she might go,
She thought it was absolutely incredible.
So you're moving up there?
Yeah.
I bet you 100% you had a weird discussion about it on the way home at some point.
Not moving up there, but buying something up there.
Of course you did.
It is. You know what, as well? I fell in love with it more showing her.
Yes.
Like,
did you show her the bit we went to at the front?
That's where I met her. So I met her there.
Oh, did you?
So basically, she drove up on the Sunday with the kids.
Yeah.
Parked up at the Old Course Hotel.
Yeah.
The support van picked the kids up and her. They got changed, whatever. Drove down to East Beach.
That's our beach.
Yeah. Our beach.
We found that, just for context, we found this cool little beach on a run we didn't know existed. So now it's mine and Rick's beach, not his and Claire's or anybody else's.
Well, that's where I touched the sea on the other side of the. I thought I touched it and I was like, guy. I wrote in the sand, Guy and Rick were here.
Guy was here.
And so yeah, they met me there, and then we walked through the town. There was quite a lot of us at that point. We walked through the town, past the cathedral. Up onto Market Street, down Market Street. It was amazing. Like, the atmosphere, the sun was shining. It was amazing. And then afterwards, went up to Russock's Hotel, had a drink up on the balcony.
Oh, nice.
The kids were playing on the putting green, and like looking over, it's unbelievable.
It's so good.
The massive grandstand behind 18's being built.
Now?
It's not quite there, but it's
getting there.
Guy, it's massive.
I like the way it's a guy.
It's massive. It's massive. Like, honestly, the crowd this year is going to be outrageous. We then went to Jigger Inn, stumbled to Jigger Inn. But, like, the golf course...
You sourcing at this point? Guinness.
Yeah, I was sourced. I'd had a pint before I finished. So we walked past the Jigger Inn. This was a brilliant moment on the 17th. We walked past the Jigger Inn, and some guys in the Jigger Inn outside shouted over, "Rick, well done." And we're obviously in this massive, like, crowd. And he kind of like lifted his pint up, and I said, "Is that for me?" And he went, "Yeah." So Matt, who's doing the podcast with his camera, went running over there. Bless him, he'd walked the whole last day as well.
My word.
He went running over there, grabbed the pint, and it was a full pint, I believe, when he grabbed it. But the excitement,
it
and
wobbled a bit.
The undulations, it came back as like half a pint. No, I'm joking. There was a little bit missing off the top, and I glugged it in a few glugs, and then got over the Swilcan Bridge and pop Prosecco, drank that. Someone somehow handed me a Guinness. I drank that, went up to the Russock, had a few drinks up there, down to the Jigger Inn. But what I'm trying to say here is obviously Sunday is a really magical day at St Andrews because the golf course is closed.
Yeah, of course.
But the course is closed now anyway.
Ah.
So even the Monday, the course was still closed.
Right.
And it's just incredible. So anyway, we stayed at the Old Course Hotel, got unbelievable rooms, like 2 rooms matching, and the kids just thought it was the best place in the world as well. So we got up that day, had breakfast, walked down, and we stumbled down, shall I say, kind of hobbled down to the high street. We picked up some bits from like a local shop, some buckets and spade and stuff. Again, walking through the old course, over the golf course, and she's like, this town's more than golf, innit? I was like, it is, but it's also so much into golf.
Yeah.
But her as a non-golf fan, she loved it there. Like, she was like, it's so picturesque, it's so pretty, the beach was amazing. However, the story unfortunately ends badly. So
I don't want to hear a bad word said about St Andrews. So if it's going to be a bad word, don't tell me this story.
It's bad.
Oh, for God's sake.
It's bad. Right, so we're going to West Sands Beach, okay?
Which one's that one now?
By the way, where Rob,
that's
Sandman, did that incredible art. The beautiful beach, the really long
Sandman
one, right?
art place, yeah.
So we walked down, but thanks Rob, by the way, for doing that. It was incredible. So we walked down, and first off, me, Jude, and Ivy went down first because Claire and Pearl had gone get some food for lunch. So we went down, and they were playing in the sand, bucket and spades. They covered my legs with sand. It was beautiful. I was sunbathing. It was absolutely incredible, right? But then this is where it turned for the worst.
Go on.
Okay. So Claire came down with Pearl with some food. Okay.
Yeah.
So they're all getting sun cream on and everything else. It's all good. And the kids were having like Lunchables or whatever. And Claire decided to make me and her some sandwiches. Okay. So she bought some bread, brought some ham, bought some coleslaw, and she was making these sandwiches, right?
I know this is going.
So she gave me the first one. Okay. I was like, brilliant. I'm tucking in. I'm starving, right? My legs are covered in sand. It was quite refreshing. The kids are playing. The sun's shining. You know, everything's rosy.
Yeah.
Until
a bird pooed on you.
It's about a bird.
Took your sandwich.
So then Claire makes her sandwich, right? So I've pretty much finished mine. I'm on the last little nibble, right? She's just about to tuck into hers. I'm not exaggerating this, guy. We got assaulted.
By a seagull?
By the nastiest, most horrible seagulls ever. The kids were screaming, crying. Claire like screamed. This seagull, massive, the size of a plane, right? This bloody light aircraft, and there was loads of them. Like, for whatever reason, Claire got a sandwich, and maybe schoolboy error, we might not have known this. She's there tucking into a sandwich, and obviously I probably should have known because I got my sandwich nicked last year on the golf course. She's there just about to tuck into a lovely sandwich she's just made.
Bang.
Honestly, massive, right? The seagull comes and tries to grab it, misses, swings round again. It's bloody massive, and there's like 5 of them round us, and crows, black crows and everything. God. The kids are screaming. Like, my legs are like
jelly legs.
My legs are knackered anyway, and like, I didn't show it to the kids, but I was a bit scared of these bloody big birds as well. So I'm like stood up. I'm like acting the big man. Claire chucks a sandwich, and they go and get the sandwich, and then they kind of come back. But there's nothing else. So I'm like clapping. I'm clapping my hands. I'm pretending to be a bird.
Oh my God!
There's loads of people around. I'm thinking,
I hope everyone knew it was you as well.
Why is it just happening to us? Like, why are we just being attacked here? Right? I'm being attacked. And I'm not joking, right? So I'm there clapping, the kids are screaming. I was thinking, what happened 2 minutes ago? This was the best day ever. Anyway, I managed to shoo them off. I managed to fend them off, and they look at you right in the eye, and they aren't scared. Those seagulls are not scared. Like, they were looking at me going, what are you going to do? What you do, mate? So what? You walked 150 miles, I don't care. Oh, have you? They were like, honestly, they were nasty.
So that put a bit of a dampener on St Andrews then for you?
Just top tips. Don't take food to the beach. I don't understand. People must just not do it.
Yeah.
Or take like snacks. And if you go into the open, keep your eyes to the sky.
I'm quite glad there was that little bit of negativity towards the end, because if you'd have come back saying that they all love St Andrews, I would have been a bit like, it's my place. It's mine and your place. It's not their place. So maybe I might have planted them seagulls there.
So the kids went playing, and Claire risked it again for some reason. Risked it again. Happened again, right?
My God.
And Claire like stood up, and she went storming after the kids. And my fairy tale, my like, this is my world. She's like, we're leaving, and I'm like,
I hate this place.
I was like, no, don't do this. Why did you do this to me, seagulls? So that might be the tears in the documentary. Also, I forgot to mention it before, just one last thing. Obviously, the money we've raised so far has been absolutely incredible. Again, 120,000, which is incredible. I'm going to put a link in the podcast audio and the YouTube channel if you can, and if you've not yet, if you've listened to this story and you think, bloody hell, he did a good deed there, and you'd love to support Prostate Cancer UK, you can donate as little as £2. If we can get a few extra thousand people to donate £2, I would love to reach £150,000
nice.
raised. Like 150,000 for 150 miles for the 150 Open. If you can spare it, and I know things are hard at the moment with living costs, but if you can spare £2, I would massively appreciate it. I'll put a link everywhere as well.
That was great.
Other things to cover?
No, I think that's it for today. If you've enjoyed the podcast and you've been listening, please rate us on Apple. Not asked for a while, but rate us 5 stars. I think you can do it on Spotify as well now, so feel free to rate us. If you've been watching on YouTube, thank you. Like the video. What are you laughing at?
I'm laughing.
What?
So on the drive home, we were still talking
We've
about...
been to St Andrews, have we?
We were still talking about the seagulls, and my daughter Pearl kept saying, I loved it there, but I didn't like the eagles. She kept calling them eagles.
She knows what your dodgy eagle on 18.
Do you know another thing as well? Did you know why Glen Eagles is called Glen Eagles?
It's the Glen of the Eagles.
I didn't know that. I discovered it, and that's right.
We do have eagles.
And I saw an eagle in the Glen.
Yeah.
So, yeah, anyway.
So that's another fact you've learned today listening. No, but yeah, so if you've watched and you liked it, hit the like button. Why not? Maybe leave a comment. We will be back on Tuesday, back to normal Tuesdays. We've got a little guest lined up that might slot into the episode. So we're going to do that now. So if we're in the same clothes in the next one that you're watching, we do get changed. Rick's doing some weird moves. What are you doing? Rick does stuff at the end now, so people are listening and go, what was he actually doing? Did he have his top off, really? You go, yeah, he has.
Do you know, by the way, I've still got the shoes I walked every mile in.
Wow.
Because they're the only shoes currently that fit.
You've got a leg on the table as well now.
They're tanned, aren't they?
Quite tan. You've got denim shorts on. So if you've not watched this, you're really missing out.
I'm only wearing shorts now.
Yeah.
Because my legs are just about brown enough to I'm not gonna now make them go white again.
Yeah. Nice.
I need to commit to shorts for the whole of the summer.
I get that.
And I've got a little bit of calf structure now. Only a little bit. Only a tiny bit, but it's there. Anyway, thanks for listening. Thanks for all your support. Next Tuesday, going caddying. My best mate. We're going to go and qualify for the Open.
Best mate. Didn't have his phone number till last week.
You know what I did? This is a funny story though. I quote tweeted Caldy's tweet yesterday.
Yeah.
And I put like, one of my really good friends has qualified for the Open, this, that, the other. Shared it, right? Tagged him in it and everything, shared it. I was like, oh yeah, obviously friends on Facebook, follow each other on Insta. I didn't even follow him on Twitter. I do now though, So he basically is my best mate. All right, yeah. Peace out. Bye.